find out what Santa is bringing every team in the NFL. So we've kept this pretty draft-centric. We're giving you guys a draft prospect for every team in the NFL. Let's start with the AFC East. So the Bills, the Jets, the Dolphins, and the Patriots. Forgot the fourth team. How could I forget the greatest ending in NFL history this past weekend? Who do you have? What are your 4 gifts here for these 2 teams? We'll go, you give your 4. We'll talk about it. I'll give my 4, and we'll talk about it a little bit more.
All right, for the AFC East leading Bills, we're going to give you some interior offensive line help. Basically an investment in the future here. First rounder, we're going to give you Osiris Torrance, for my money, the top interior offensive lineman in this class out of Florida. For the Dolphins, you get a running back, Devon Achane.
Yeah.
The fastest man in college football, adding to the fastest offense in the NFL. Devon Achane, probably, I'd say somewhere on day 2, he's going to come off the board. Going to run the 4.2s. Speed don't last too long, though. So Devon Achane going to the Dolphins. Jets, offensive tackle. No clue what's going on with Mekhi Becton and his health, if you can rely on him going forward. Even if you can't, you're probably going to need help on the right side. Broderick Jones is your man there to be the pairing. And then Patriots, Michael Mayer. We were going to talk about that one a lot, but it just makes a lot of sense.
You know, now that I see Michael Mayer on the screen, I didn't have Michael Mayer in here for any of these teams. So maybe I'll pull a wild card and I'll throw him in here. Maybe we'll just go live on the spot. Okay, for the Buffalo Bills, I'm going wide receiver. I think they need a wide receiver. Look, there's a reason why they brought old Cole Beasley back in the middle of the season.
Yeah.
They need an underneath player. They get themselves a Jackson Smith and Jigba. I think it's pretty solid, right? You got Stephon Diggs. You got Gabe Davis on the outside. You get Jackson Smith and Jigba. You got Dawson Knox coming along. Come on.
Well, they're obviously hoping they can get what's-his-face, the rookie.
Yeah, him. Yeah,
Khalil
great,
Shakir
good. Okay.
as their slot guy.
This is true.
So.
This is true. I put an extra E at the end of Devon Achane's name. But we have the same thought process. Speed kills, baby. Speed is what the Miami Dolphins are all about. Raheem Mostert, speed back, 1-year deal. Jeff Wilson, speed back, 1-year deal. Draft Devon Achane and have that speed for a guaranteed 4 years on a rookie contract.
Yeah. I'll also say Keaton Mitchell, the ECU running back. Very similar skill sets, him and Devon Achane. Both undersized, but both going to run the low 4.3s, high 4.2s.
I have for the Jets, Brian Branch. We have him listed as a defensive tackle there. Not a defensive tackle. Would probably be the lightest defensive tackle of all time. He's actually a defensive back. He's a safety/nickel corner hybrid, although wouldn't put it past the man to stick his nose in there in the trenches, because that's what this dude's all about, right? The versatility, the reliability when he's tackling ball carriers of all different shapes and sizes. The guys that he matches up against at the nickel spot, I feel like his versatility would be huge for that Jets secondary and almost round it out, almost make it complete. So would love to see Brian Branch in there, but I do agree with your offensive tackle take. They could definitely use that too. Patriots, I went quarterback, man. Thank you for that. Was a perfectly timed soundbite right there. Well done, Stav. That was well done. I'm taking CJ Stroud here. I don't know how realistic this is with the Patriots currently at number 16 overall, but I think quarterback's got to be on the board for the Patriots. I don't think there's a ton of confidence for them moving forward into the offseason. What do you think?
I don't know. I think they got to ride with Mac. I think he was too good as a rookie. I think you got to look more towards your offensive coordinator position and your skill position. Get him some guys that can actually separate first before you give up on Mac Jones. Not to say that, I'm not a Mac Jones apologist. I don't think he's going to ever join the elite of the elite at the position. But I don't think going right back to the quarterback is going to fix what's wrong here in New England.
Philip says that I do not have Zappy fever. You are correct. You are correct. I am healthy, I am well, and I do not have Zappy fever. Although I do think that Zappy's a great backup quarterback in the NFL. I really do. Philip also says offensive tackle for the Jets, but also really want a linebacker or a safety. I think Brian Branch can definitely help you out with safety right there. Drew saying you can get linebacker or safety later, which is true for the Jets. Maybe that first round pick does need to go to the trenches. That's often what the highest return on investment is. Alex says Diggs, Jackson Smith and Jigba, and Gabe Davis. Let's go, baby. I like it. Yeah, I liked it. AJ says Stroud, good pick for the Pats. Somebody earlier said that the Patriots have invested so much in tight end already that for them to get Michael Mayer, it just feels like At that point, they would have, Hunter Henry, Jonnu Smith,
Yeah,
Michael Mayer.
they're going to do it, though. Come on.
Just live out of 13 personnel.
No, I mean, they're going to have to cut these guys is what they're going to have to do because they're paying them too much.
No, never.
Belichick's always like bending the rules, and he's an innovator. What if they just run 11 tight ends out there on offense? Make you deal with that.
I don't know how you do it.
Just go heavier. Just go full war on the spread. Forget you getting lighter and faster. We're getting beefier and stronger.
Yeah. Zig while they zag.
That 21 play drive from the Pittsburgh Steelers that last weekend. That's what the Patriots are all about.
Watching that drive.
Clock control, baby. Unreal drive from the Steelers there this past weekend. All right, next division. Let's go to the NFC North.
Yes, sir.
What do you got here for the Bengals, Browns, Ravens, and Steelers?
All right, AFC North. Let's go. Starting off with the Cincinnati Bengals. We're going to give you another pass catcher. But this time it's going to be at tight end. We're going to get you a guy who can add a little dynamism to that position. No offense to Hayden Hurst, but he ain't Dalton Kincaid from a receiving perspective, and just really round out this receiving core to give it just every single guy that's running around on every single play as a guy that has to be accounted for. So Dalton Kincaid, I think, would take that offense to another level. The Utah tight end. Browns, we're giving you some beef up front. We're giving you a run defender. We're giving you Keandre Coburn, probably the best nose tackle in this draft outside of Siaki Ika, who's going to go in the first round. Obviously, we don't have a first-round pick. Means you're probably not going to get him. So Keandre Coburn, the Texas DT, breakout fifth year. He goes there. The guy I mentioned here, Keaton Mitchell. Give Lamar Jackson, one of the most dynamic quarterbacks in the NFL, one of the most dynamic running backs in the NFL. Just put more speed on that offense. Obviously, if Ravens fans are campaigning, one of those two words for a change of offensive sort of philosophy, let's say. Basically, I'm just trying to say they want Greg Roman fired. Keaton Mitchell, I don't care who you have at offense coordinator, he's the guy you want in your offense with Lamar Jackson quarterback. And the last one, Brian Branch. We talked about him already. DB to the Steelers. Him and Micah Fitzpatrick. He literally played the Micah Fitzpatrick role at Alabama. And he played it as well, if not better, in some aspects, than Micah Fitzpatrick. One of the best tacklers in the draft class. One of the best tackler DBs you frankly you'll ever see. That guy can ball. Brian Branch to the Steelers. I would love to see.
Daniel saying, I knew that Danny would get in on this. For the Ravens, an offensive coordinator who doesn't run a Pop Warner passing concept offense. Daniel's also screaming at you. He's saying, brother Mike, give the Ravens a wide receiver. Did you think about wide receiver?
They don't use it in that offense as currently situated. They use
I do like Mitchell.
And you got Rashad Bateman now.
And he's going to be good.
And someone just shouted out James Prochet as the Misfit Toys yesterday, right? So.
Oh, that's true?
Yeah.
Oh, that wasn't enough for me to not give a wide receiver to them.
Sure.
For my AFC North, Cincinnati Bengals, they need offensive tackle help. If they have a say in it, don't go into next season just being like, yeah, the guys we got, they're going to be fine. I don't believe that's going to be the case. I've got the Cincinnati Bengals taking Broderick Jones, the offensive tackle from Georgia. I think that's a good target for them, as the Bengals are going to be picking later in the first round. I think that Broderick Jones, I don't know, might be a little late for him anyway, so we'll see. But it's a Christmas gift, all right? Get off my back. For the Browns, I could not think of another really good interior defensive tackle other than Siaki Ika for them to get. But you highlighting Coburn as the run stopper, that's the whole reason why I just put Dalvin Tomlinson here. I was just like, okay, go to free agency, go get Dalvin Tomlinson. Like, I kind of cheated here, but we are on the same wavelength there. Ravens, Daniel, I did go wide receiver. I went with Jalen Hyatt, okay? If you put Jalen Hyatt's long speed and ability to take the top off the defense, that consistent deep threat, if you put that in this offense and you're actually serious about using him and putting him in the right situations as a consistent threat the defense has to always account for, you got Jalen Hyatt as a speed guy. You've got Mark Andrews over the middle. You've got Rashad Bateman to play at all three levels of the field, down the field. All of a sudden, J.K. Dobbins fully healthy, hopefully. Lamar Jackson fully healthy, hopefully, in that backfield. That is a legit offense. That's an offense that whoever is offensive coordinator in Baltimore should be able to say, we can run a wide variety of things with the Ravens. I would love to see Jalen Hyatt with the Baltimore Ravens. I think it's a really good landing spot for them. And back into the first round, I think it's a possibility. Steelers, I went offensive tackle. I think he's got to be offensive line for the Steelers. I don't hate the thought of Brian Branch being in that secondary. Definitely don't hate the idea of it. It's not like he's a bad player going to a bad spot there. But I think offensive tackle is more of the pressing need. And so if the Steelers are going under the Christmas tree. If Steelers fans are sprinting down the stairs and unwrapping a package, I think that they want to see an offensive tackle, and I'm giving them Ohio State.
The big package.
The big package, Paris Johnson Jr.
Yeah. Is that a new nickname for him we should go with?
We'll have to run it by some people to see if that would be okay. But I think it fits in a lot of ways. Yeah. So, all right, Paris Johnson Jr., offensive tackle, going to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Those are my gifts there. Any thoughts?
I was a fan of the Hyatt to the Ravens. We had similar thoughts of just adding speed to the offense.
AJ says, I like Hyatt to Baltimore, but they will not draft him. Ooh. Tamela says, Lamar won't get Hyatt because Greg Roman wants Michael Mayer.
Yeah, he probably would.
And Mark Andrews?
That'd be cool. That's really zigging when everyone zags. For damn sure.
It's not Belichick, though. Three tight ends. How are they going to go 2 tight ends when Belichick's going 3 tight ends?
Ravens, Pats, must-see TV.
You know who I really want? You know who I want Christmas gift for the Bengals?
Who's your?
That guy that was doing pass sets in the parking lot at the Jets-Lions game. Get him in stripes tomorrow. That's who I want for O-tackle.
Penny Light.
Get him a Bengals jersey instead of a Penny Sewell jersey and just stick him right out there. Boom, the footwork. We went over. We broke down the film. The footwork was fantastic. Made the early contact. Got the hand out there. Dictated the point of attack. Yeah. You'd love to see it.
If that was a Jonah Williams jersey, though, he would have got spun on real quick.
Well, it would kill 2 birds with 1 stone because you remember the Sewell Chase debate? Well, you get Penny Sewell light.
You get Penny Sewell in.
That's true.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true. Matt's saying no, the Steelers need a CB1. I think if the Steelers want to go cornerback, they're going to have the ability to do that in this draft. Certainly picking where they are right in the middle of the first round, there's going to be a handful of corners to pick from. Maybe a Christian Gonzalez, a Keely Ringo, depending on how high those guys go. A Joey Porter Jr., which would really be something with Joey Porter Jr. getting to go to the team that his dad played for so long. I think that's pretty great. Well, Brandon said I really want Michael Mayer for Trevor. I think he's saying like Trevor Lawrence. I don't know about me personally. Michael Mayer.
Good segue
seems like
to the AFC South, and who I gave the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Oh, all right. Let's line them up. AFC South: Colts, Texans, Titans, Jags.
Jags. I got them going tight end, but not Michael Mayer because I don't think that's what I would want in the first round pick. But I think in the second round, you very well may be able to get Oregon State's Luke Musgrave. One of the most athletic tight ends in the draft class.
Yeah.
Obviously only played 2 games this past season. Went over 80 yards receiving in both. But he is dynamic, probably the best athlete in this tight end class. Not probably. On tape, he is the best athlete in this tight end class. 6'6", 250. Evan Ingram on a 1-year deal. We've been preaching, give him more weapons, give him more weapons. That doesn't always have to be give him more wide receiver weapons. And again, we don't advocate much for drafting tight ends in the first round. Juice rarely is worth a squeeze. TJ Hawkinson, I think most people would call him top 5, 10 tight end in the NFL. We saw his departure from the Detroit Lions mean absolutely nothing to them. So, Luke Musgrave, though, a little different type of cat. I think he can still help this Jacksonville Jaguars offense. Then we're going Quentin Johnston. Titans going back-to-back first-round wide receivers because they need to.
Yeah.
You can't just ignore it. You can't just and we saw with the Eagles how much they, said, Jalen Reagor, we effed up. And now I'm not saying they effed up with Traylon Burks, but just saying it's still a need. So if it's still a need, you could still go back to that well. And a guy like Quentin Johnston's a perfect fit for that offense with his massive catch radius he brings over the middle of the field. Texans, no-brainer. Bryce Young, Colts, not as much of a no-brainer. But if you're in the quarterback market, Will Levis with, somewhere around a top 5 pick towards back in the top 5, it's worth taking that swing in my opinion.
Ours are very similar. We almost had 3 of the exact same picks here. Because if you go over to mine, we'll be able to see that I also had 2 quarterbacks going to the Texans and the Indianapolis Colts, and it was the same exact combo. I think that Bryce Young is destined to be a Houston Texan. It certainly feels like that's going to be the case at this point. Will Levis just feels like a Colt, right? Just feels like an Indianapolis Colt. Jim Harbaugh, the future head coach. Wait, sorry, did I say that again? Okay, sorry. Well, I do think that's happening. Will Levis getting to be their quarterback there, it just feels like it's a match that they're waiting for. I have Quentin Johnston going to a different team, so I couldn't wrap up Quentin Johnston and make him a present twice. So for the Titans,
split him in half.
I like split him in half, clone him. It's 2022.
Yeah.
I like Parker Washington, the Penn State wide receiver. I think he's underrated, man. I like Parker Washington a lot. He's a slot receiver, and so at that point, you're hoping that Traylon Burks can really develop into more of an outside wide receiver. But if that is the case, and I think that you've got two really promising and athletic young weapons in the receiving core, which I think that they definitely need. And then for the Jags, I'd love to get them a corner opposite Tyson Campbell, a young corner opposite Tyson Campbell that they can really count on. Christian Gonzalez from Oregon. I think that him on one side, Tyson Campbell on the other, that's a really great connection. We were kind of breaking down the Jags roster as we were breaking down their big win this past weekend. And it's like, okay, where are the areas where we really attack? Offensive line could certainly be one of those spots. So offensive tackle could definitely be a gift that they're unwrapping under the tree. But from where they're picking right now, and especially if they win the AFC South, Mike, they're going to be picking 20th or higher. I don't know how many great offensive tackles you're going to have to pick 20th or higher. I think it's more likely that you get a corner that you like, maybe a guy like Christian Gonzalez. So that's why I ended up going with that.
Yeah, drafting, how many tackles in the past decade have been taken past pick 15, let's say, and been immediately quality stars? It's not many. Like your odds after the top 10 at that position, a position like that, really falls off a cliff. So if they are going to be making playoffs, which I think they will at this point, I think you're looking towards wide receiver, cornerback. Those seem like the two positions right now, maybe even defensive tackle, depending on the talent there, but positions I'd be addressing. And someone like Christian Gonzalez across from Tyson Campbell would be nice.
Tumlo saying Jags defense doesn't need any more first rounders. Give Trevor a weapon.
I agree. I do think it's time to load up on the offense, because if you go to where you want to go, if you're going to get to where you want to go, it's going to be on the backs of Trevor Lawrence's golden locks.
I don't hate it. I'm certainly not opposed to it, but you do fast forward a little bit. You got Christian Kirk. You got Zay Jones, which I know some people are out on Zay Jones, but he's certainly productive in that offense right now. You're getting Calvin Ridley. You're certainly making something out of Evan Ingram as well. How long is Evan Ingram there?
There's a 1-year deal.
It was just a 1-year deal? Okay, well, so that might be up for it as well. Yeah, good discussion there. All right, last AFC division. We're getting to the AFC West. It's the Chiefs, the Broncos, the Chargers, and the Raiders. What do you got for them, Mike?
This one, my first one for the Chiefs, is probably the biggest pipe dream of anyone on this list. And it is Jared Verse, the FSU edge rusher, going to the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, is he going to make it to the back end of the first round? No.
Yeah, play the soundbite.
Yeah, I don't think he will. But man, would that be a perfect pairing.
Santa mixed up the gifts.
Oh,
he got the wrong name.
Yeah, I just think the edge need there is obvious. Outside of Chris Jones, they've really been struggling to rush the passer. Now, George Karlaftis, encouraging-ish rookie year, but obviously not enough to stop me. Even if he does turn out to be good, you still could use another along the defensive line. So Jared Verse is where I'm going there for the Chiefs. Broncos, right tackle help, Paris Johnson. Does he drop that far? Again, I'm not sure. Chargers, you get gifted a new athletic training staff. Get these guys fucking healthy for once.
You idiot.
You're welcome. Realistically, maybe Jalen Hyatt, the Tennessee wide receiver, who realistically would be awesome for the Chargers. So maybe not first round. That's too rich for my blood for a guy who's fairly a one-trick pony, but I think in the second round, you would love to get more speed in that offense. And the Raiders, just get a good offensive lineman. Pierce Skoronski is your best chance in this draft, regardless of position, at getting a good offensive lineman. So draft him. There you have it.
All right. I was kind of similar. I mean, I didn't have an athletic training staff for the Chargers, but I do think that would be a great gift for them.
Go deep in the bag. You'll find better presents.
You did. You went deep into Santa's bag there with that one. Okay, for me, I was similar wavelength with you with the Kansas City Chiefs, except I was living on planet Earth. I was living in the real world. And I've got them taking B.J. Ojulari, the pass rusher from LSU, back end of the first round. So I agree, edge rusher could be a big need for them, or at least that they would like to get younger.
Very much more realistic.
So I'm going to go with Ojulari there. For the Broncos, offensive tackle, wasn't sure how many of those top 4 offensive tackle guys we were going to get down by where the Broncos picked, because they have the Miami Dolphins selection, remember, due to the Bradley Chubb trade. So I got Darnell Wright, the offensive tackle from Tennessee, who I think is going to be on the rise as we kind of go throughout this draft process. Handled a lot of guys well, especially Will Anderson when they played up against Will Anderson, which was definitely impressive. Chargers, yes, could go wide receiver. We've been clamoring for them to get a speed wide receiver. But if it's not Jalen Hyatt, let's say they're picking a little bit too high for Jalen Hyatt, or they just don't think that he's worth that value. I don't know if you need to force it. I don't think you want to force it. Corner, all of a sudden, could be a really big need for them. J.C. Jackson and what he could be for this team, very much up in the air. says Kelsey Ringo. That's my bad. I'm an idiot and didn't put the E instead of the C. It's Keely Ringo, the cornerback from Georgia. Rare combination of size and speed there that the Chargers would absolutely love as an outside cornerback. And then Raiders. I did it.
You did do it.
Bijan Robinson.
That's a wild.
You let Josh Jacobs walk. You don't got to franchise tag him. You don't have to sign him because he's had an unbelievable year this year, and he is going to command a high price as a running back in the free agency market. You don't need to re-sign him, and instead you get one of the best running back prospects I have watched in a long, long time in Bijan Robinson. So I was trying to figure out where I could fit Bijan Robinson, and I got him with the Raiders. I did it.
Yeah.
Bring it on. Bring on the hate. Silver and black, Bijan Robinson.
I would not. I would decline that said gift.
Wow.
I'd switch to
regift it.
I was gonna say
regift it.
I'd switch to Judaism. Start celebrating Hanukkah. Try to get something better next year.
When Bijan goes off for 1,200 and 800 in his first year, you can shut the hell up. Is what you could do. Okay, let's move over to. Oh wait, everybody point out Kelsey Ringo. I know.
Kelsey Ringo's a hot name though. She's
Kelsey
probably
Ringo
a
would still
good-looking
be a
girl.
good. Okay. Well, that's not where I was going with that, but that is of course where you went with it. All right, let's switch over to the NFC. We'll start with NFC East. Let's go Giants, Eagles, Commanders, and Cowboys.
Yes, let's do that. With the Giants, we're starting with some wide receiver help. No brainer here.
Definitely need it.
Jordan Addison, USC wide receiver.
Great pick.
Former Biletnikoff Award winner. I think he's just the best, probably best all-around receiver in this draft. Just a sort of safe, good route runner, good speed, can separate, lacks a little physicality, some drop issues. Separation's still king at the NFL level. And obviously Giants, with the receivers they have, could use said separation. And with the Eagles, we're going Brian Brzee, defensive tackle. Just the rich get richer. Javon Hargrave, obviously, his contract voids after this season. Will be a free agent. Pair him with Jordan Davis, and you got scary DT combo there. Similar with Commanders. Jerron Payne after this season, free agent. You want Siaki Ika, another defensive tackle. Keep strength to strength. That D-line should be scary with him in the middle of it. And then Joey Porter Jr., Cowboys cornerback. Obviously, they covet length at that position. Him across from Trayvon Diggs is a long cornerback tandem. So there you have it. There's your NFC East, guys.
I like Washington going with Ika. I didn't really think about that, but that's actually a really good pairing. Siaki Ika was one of those players where I felt like I wanted to put his name in for like 3 or 4 different teams. And I tried to not cheat about it. I tried to not go with the same player twice. I wanted to make the gifts all different. So only could land with Siaki Ika on one team. Didn't get him with Washington, but that's actually a really good thought. I like that as well. I like your Eagles thought as well because, well, I have the same one. I have Brian Brzee also going to the Philadelphia Eagles with them currently having the number 9 overall pick. Makes sense as a landing spot from Brzee and Jordan Davis in the same defensive
Yeah, we both went.
line. That is filthy. For the New York Giants, Gator great Anthony Richardson, them being able to take a chance on a high ceiling player like Richardson at the back end of the first round, I think makes a ton of sense. Look, Daniel Jones has played fine. But don't let fine get in the way of you upgrading the position the way that you want, right? Your goal is not to be a fringe playoff team. Your goal is to be a Super Bowl team. Is Daniel Jones going to be a Super Bowl quarterback for you? I would tell you no. Take a stab on somebody that possibly could with an incredibly high ceiling like Anthony Richardson has. For the Commanders, I went corner because I do still think they need corner. And with Joey Porter Jr., I know that's a very common mock draft pick. And for the Cowboys, I really wanted to get them a wide receiver. But I've got Jordan Addison and Quentin Johnson going to different spots because the Cowboys are obviously picking in the 20s, meaning that they're going to make the playoffs. So, again, I went a free agent here. I went with Darius Slayton, switching sides in the NFC East, going from New York down to Dallas. But they need a wide receiver. They need more wide receiver help. They cannot rely just on CeeDee Lamb. I think it's got to be better in that area. So I think Jordan Addison would make sense here. A Quentin Johnson would make sense here. But I didn't think that they were going to make it. So instead, you get the guy that I think he's probably going to be the most coveted wide receiver when we hit free agency in Darius Slayton.
They're paying Michael Gallup a lot of money next year. A lot of money. $14 million against the cap, and he can't go anywhere. So I don't know if they're going to be making big plays in
free agency.
Class. Yeah.
No,
not that Darius Slayton's a big play.
No,
let's keep it real.
The cap's fake. You can navigate it. Money's fake.
Not with Dak's contract.
All right, what about the next division? Let's go. What do we have next here in the order? NFC North.
Yes.
Vikings, Lions, Packers, Bears.
What
you got?
Can't wait. With the Minnesota Vikings, we're giving you a second wide receiver because they've been feeding Justin Jefferson a lot this season. But Adam Thielen on the downside in his early 30s, getting towards his mid-30s. Obviously not the same as he was towards his prime. KJ Osborne, I'm not sold on. We're going to give you Josh Downs, the UNC wide receiver. Get a little dynamism to this receiving core. A slot guy, but also adds the juice of a downfield threat. Love that for them. Probably an upgrade from Jalen Reagor as well. And by probably, I mean is an upgrade from Jalen Reagor. Lions, Anthony Richardson. Lions fans that keep saying, we don't want a quarterback, we don't want a quarterback. Well, Anthony Richardson's not really a quarterback that you're drafting to usurp Goff next year. He's a quarterback you're drafting for the future, to draft and develop, as the old saying goes. So use that top 5 pick or whatever it's going to end up as on a different position, an impact player maybe on the defensive side of the ball, and then get your Anthony Richardson with that second first-round pick that you're going to have. They may be a little deeper now in the draft than was previously anticipated if they make the playoffs. With the Packers, we're going Darnell Washington, Georgia tight end. It's going to happen. They're going to draft him or Brevin Spanford because they need a 6'7", 270-pound offensive tackle called a tight end in their offense for some reason. They've had Mercedes Lewis doing that. Darnell Washington's a younger, sprier version of Mercedes Lewis, who honestly is like even a freakier. Like this guy's built out of a lab. He looks utterly ridiculous. He looks like Orlando Pace lost like 60 pounds and started playing tight end. Chicago Bears, Jalen Carter, defensive tackle, Georgia, best non-quarterback in this draft. Just take him.
Would be clutch for them to get Carter. There's no doubt about it. I like the Josh Downs one. I tried to get Josh Downs in here to a couple of different teams. RJ likes it too. Thought that was a very interesting pick. I don't think I ended up getting Josh Downs in there, but this is a good spot here. I like Josh Downs getting in and going in that offense. I think that he would be able to produce right away for that team. For the Vikings, I think their number one need is corner. So I'm giving them Cam Smith, the outside cornerback for South Carolina. I think that, look, Patrick Peterson's getting up there in age. I mean, they just need corner help already, even with the guys that they already have on the roster. So I think cornerback is the number one need there for the Vikings. I have Jalen Carter in this division, but not going to the Bears. I have him going to the Detroit Lions. I still think the Detroit Lions have a shot at Jalen Carter, thanks to their trade with the Los Angeles Rams, because the Rams are so bad. So this is the gift, right? Whether or not he would exactly be there for the Lions, depending on where they pick, I'm not sure. But if we're talking Christmas gifts, this is the perfect player, I think. You put Jalen Carter on a defensive line with Aleem McNeil, and now you got James Houston getting a sack every single game that he's guaranteed for. You got Aiden Hutchinson playing better. I don't know, is Levi Onwuzurike going to be a thing when he comes back from his back injury? You hope. So all of a sudden, like, the defensive line looks pretty damn good when you get a major difference maker like Jalen Carter in the middle of it. For the Packers, I give the Packers Jordan Addison. Thoughts?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Does that make sense?
Dude, I can type in any wide receiver there.
Okay, all right. I typed in one wide receiver, and it's the former Biletnikoff winner. And I got him going to the Green Bay Packers. For the Bears, got a little cheeky here. I opened up the gift, and it was a gift and then another gift. It was like a big, giant box that had 2 gifts in there. One's trade down, so you're getting extra draft assets for next Christmas, and you can't open it for another year. But the other gift, to hold you over until next Christmas, offensive tackle Peter Skoronski. So I know that Braxton Jones is playing well as one of those offensive tackle spots, but Riley Reif is 34 years old. He's on a 1-year deal. He's probably not coming back anyways. You can play Peter Skoronski on the outside. Hopefully Tevin Jenkins his neck injury that he suffered isn't something super serious or long-term, because then all of a sudden you get a really nice core of offensive linemen. But I still like the idea of the Bears going offensive line in that first round. That's kind of my thought process. I don't think you need to force one at number 2, because right now they're picking number 2 overall. So that's why you get a luxury. Trade back, let somebody else trade up to go get a quarterback probably. You get an extra first-round pick for next year, and you get to pick a great offensive tackle in this class.
Yeah, if you can finesse another first-rounder out of this, by all means, you're the Chicago Bears. You're too far away to say one Jalen Carter, one Will Anderson's putting us over the edge.
Yeah. Let's see. Alex is saying trade down with a team that's desperate for a quarterback. I think that Alex is talking about the Bears there. Tumula says, do the Packers have enough holes covered to prioritize wide receiver? Thoughts? Do the Packers have enough?
I mean, wide receiver is a hole. So.
Okay. All right.
I guess I don't.
Maybe Tumalo's a big believer in Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs.
I'm a big believer. That being said, we're still gonna.
Adam's saying you got to get a Trey Lance type of trade. I don't think we're getting a Trey Lance type of trade. Like all those first round picks for number 2. I just don't see it. You're getting a first round asset next year. That's just the going price. It's what it's got to be. But a Trey Lance price was pretty ridiculously high. I don't think they're going to get anything like that.
I agree. Okay. And also because with the Trey Lance trade, the 49ers were thinking they were going to be a good team. And obviously ended up being a good team. But like they weren't with the teams that were going to trade up in the draft this year, whether it's the Colts, whether it's the Panthers, aren't thinking they're going to be good next year. So if they give up a future first, it's going to be like a top 10 pick that they're giving up in the future. That in and of itself is probably as much as like the 2 firsts that the Dolphins ended up getting back at 49ers.
All right, NFC South, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Atlanta Falcons, Carolina Panthers, as you just mentioned, and the New Orleans Saints. Tell us what you got.
I'm going Tampa Bay Bucks first. We're going Cam Smith, cornerback, South Carolina. I know you want to sign Jamel Dean, but the cap magic is it going to take to keep him in the fold, him and Sean Murphy-Bunting?
Now they got it.
I don't think it's worth it.
Now they got it.
I think you say, hey, you're a tremendous corner. Thank you for your service. Thank you for the ring. Now we'll take a 3rd-round compensatory pick back from you in free agency. And draft Cam Smith in the 1st round. You got to hit some resets. You got to do some cap soothing after what you've done the past few years. I think that's where you go. Atlanta Falcons, we're going Tyree Wilson, Texas Tech edge defender. Across from Arn Abakady, who's more of a pass rusher first, never going to be a elite run defender. Tyree Wilson could be an elite run defender. That guy's a freak of nature, over a 7-foot wingspan on the edge. Looks like, I'm trying to think of I had a comp for him in my head. Forgot it. Who was like the bad guy, the villain in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? That was like the big rat looking thing. Never mind. Not coming to me. But Panthers. CJ, that's the
Somebody
comfort.
please
That's
help
the
our
comfort
guy
Tyree
out.
Wilson.
The villain from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah. Panthers.
Is that going to be in the draft guide?
Here's where I went.
The
CJ
rat
Stroud.
villain
Yes,
from.
It is. It's got a name. It's like a recognizable name too. I'll look it up after this.
I'm going to look at the chat. See if
Panthers.
anybody knows
CJ Stroud, Ohio State quarterback.
Okay.
That one fairly self-explanatory. Shredder. Okay. But that's not who I'm thinking of either. Shredder is the bad guy, but then in like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, he had one that was like a big rat. And then for the Saints, gift I'm giving to you is cap space. This is the year.
Yes.
You're getting all the cap space you want. Tear down this goddamn roster because you're going to have a top 10 pick regardless. Or, it's not your pick, but you're having a top 10 pick with this roster fully healthy. So tear it down and then draft Keon White, the Georgia Tech edge defender in the 2nd round, to try to replace the Cam Jordan fall off here.
Sort of cheated on this one with the Saints. I think they need a quarterback, so I have Anthony Richardson or Will Levis because you're just picking one of them, and right now they have the number. No. Actually, wait. They don't have a top 10 pick, so they can't pick either of those guys.
You don't believe in Andy Dalton?
No, I really don't. Okay, the Saints one. I guess I'm with you. Just eat your vegetables, take your medicine.
Yeah.
You're gonna be bad. You're just going to be real bad. Right into next season with Jameis Winston, and your gift is it was fun with Drew Brees. That's what I've got. That's the memories. The memories of Drew Brees is my gift to you. Maybe it's going to be framed photos of better times in New Orleans is actually what I'm giving them. The Panthers, I gave them CJ Stroud. They need a quarterback. You can basically pick one. Wherever you think that range is going to be appropriate for one of the quarterbacks in this class, that's what the Panthers are going to be selecting. Falcons. See, I went realistic with this one because the Falcons are picking 8th currently, and I have them taking Jared Verse because I think he's a lot closer to a top 10 pick than he is whatever the Chiefs are going to be picking, Mike.
Yeah, that's true. That one's true.
So, anyways, gave the Falcons Jared Verse, one of my favorite pass rushers in this class from Florida State. And then for the Buccaneers, I went defensive line. This defensive line all of a sudden is not great. Certainly with Shaq Barrett being hurt, with Ndamukong Suh not being there anymore. And they got a lot of free agents as well. Akeem Hicks is a free agent. Raheem Nunez-Rocha is a free agent. Carl Nassib is. William Golston is. Like, so many of these guys are potentially out of the door in Tampa. But they need somebody to play next to Vita Vea, and I like the idea of Siaki Ika and Vita Vea there. There's so much versatility of where you could play those guys because of how athletically gifted for their size. It's got to start up front for the Buccaneers. They've got some decent edge guys, right? Shaq Barrett's still there. Hopefully he's going to come back to form. You like Joe Tryon, Shoyinka, but the interior of that defensive line's got to get better. I do agree with you. If they let Jamel Dean walk, though, all of a sudden that becomes a major need for them because they're probably not going to re-sign Sean Murphy-Bunting either.
Yeah.
So corner becomes a very big need for this team. All right, last division.
I figured out the guy. It was Renner. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The Secret of Ooze. Yeah. That's the comp. Tyree Wilson.
You have a picture?
I sent a picture in the chat. Can we put it up? Can we get that pick up?
I don't know if we can do that immediately. Oh, interesting.
That's the comp.
This dude's terrifying.
Not the turtle-looking one.
Renner.
Is it up yet?
Renner.
Bear with us.
Okay.
Interesting.
We'll get it up.
Close.
We'll do it in a second. You can show Renner after we get done with this division. It's the Niners, the Seahawks, the Rams, the Cardinals, the NFC West. What do you got for gifts for these guys?
Gift for the 49ers is their scouting staff gets to take a year off. We get to take 4 rounds of naps before we're on the clock in the 5th round this upcoming year.
They really a 5th round pick?
Yeah, they've strayed away their first 4. Antonio Mafi, the UCLA guard, former defensive tackle, only been playing guard 3 years, guy that I would draft on day 3 and try to develop at the guard position. Seahawks going Keely Ringo, Keely and Tariq. Wow, I keep going back to that. Keely Ringo and Tariq Woolen would be just an absolutely sick cornerback duo. That's just, I'm going to keep saying it from now until April 27th. I just will. Los Angeles Rams. They get the memories of a Super Bowl win is what I'm gifting them this year because whatever gift I give you is not going to come close to that for affecting your long-term happiness. So just keep that in the back of your memory. And then maybe in the second round when you do draft, you can get Anton Harrison, the Oklahoma tackle. And the last one, Cardinals. Congratulations. You had a top 5 pick. Hopefully you don't screw it up this year. Will Anderson. Can't screw that one up. If he's on the board there, you're picking him. And I think he very well may be with the Cardinals. Obviously, probably not going to win another game this season.
Whoa. I got to correct you. You said the Niners don't pick until the 5th round?
Here you go.
They not?
Here's Renner.
Oh, there's Renner, by the way.
Yeah, it's the one on the left.
So that's Tyree Wilson's comp.
That's Tyree Wilson's comp. Look at him. Dead ringer.
The one on the left.
The one on the left. Yeah, not the turtle with the spikes. That thing's fucking jacked, by the way. That's Sean Tucker's comp on the right.
Just
the Syracuse.
Actually, that's
Would you want to tackle that guy?
No, I don't really want to tackle Sean Tucker either. Yeah, the Niners actually have 2 third-round picks. They have comp picks because the Jets hired Robert Saleh and the Dolphins hired Mike McDaniel.
Gotcha.
So they got two comp picks there.
All right. Forgot.
I'm going to have them package the 2 comp picks, go up a little bit higher in the draft, and my gift for them is Devon Witherspoon. Get an outside corner. Love Witherspoon. Not so sure he's going to be first-round pick. Maybe he will. I'm not sure. But if he slips to the 2nd round, maybe you trade a couple of those picks, move up a little bit, get yourself a nice little shutdown outside corner there for the 49ers. Seahawks, it's Will Anderson. Go get Will Anderson. Don't think twice about it. You need edge rush help. It's a premium position. He's one of the best there is to choose from. Will Anderson to the Seattle Seahawks. It's the gift that you know you're going to get. You know, your parents have kind of talked about it. It's the one thing that you wish for. And on Christmas Day, it's the gift that you get to unwrap. So you love that. Rams, Anton Harrison. I agree. You know, you got to try to go get something that's going to help out that offensive line. And then the Cardinals. I went defensive line on this one. Could have gone offensive line, but I went defensive line. I went Miles Murphy, the edge rusher there, because I feel like he can play a variety of different spots for you. He lines up anywhere from a 4-eye to like a 6-tech, 7-tech, whatever you want to call it, outside of the tight end. So I feel like he's very versatile for a defensive front in Arizona that likes to get versatile, and he's just a really talented player. So there we go. That's what I got.
It's wild to me, Miles Murphy. I mean, he's a dead ringer for Trayvon Walker athletically. That they are going to test out very similarly, at very similar size when there hadn't been a guy that freaky in over a decade. Back-to-back years are getting one.